Hey guys, it's Alex Youngblood. I've got David Lecco here with me, and we're going to start talking with him in a little bit. But let's wait and see how many of you guys come on the line. Obviously, the more the merrier. Um, and we'll get started. So I'll just we're just talk with David here briefly as some people come on the line. But as you do come on, let us know where you're from, what market you're in, how you're feeling today, wave anything. Just let us know you're here, and we'll we'll get going with it. So how are you doing, David? Good to see you.
Thank you. It's really good to see you too. It's been a little while since we've seen each other, right? In
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, we've been at a few different events where we've seen each other. Sean Terry's was the first event where I
In
met
October.
you,
Yep.
and I think was it Tom Kroll's
Wholesaling
event?
Summit.
The
Exactly.
the wholesaling, yeah, the wholesaling summit. I saw you over there too. So now, unfortunately, with Be Live. I'm not going to be able to see who's saying things unless maybe I go on my phone. They have like some kind of privacy thing going on with with Facebook. So let me see here if I can go on my phone and see if that fixes the problem. Uh, I gotta lower it. Okay, so yeah, so now I can see the people on here as they're commenting. So I see Rod, I see Frank, I see Pablo, I see Eric. So yeah, good to see you guys as you're coming on. So yeah, we met at a couple events. That first one was Sean Terry's event out in Phoenix. We kind of chatted, we hit it off, found out that you're like this super wizard when it comes to like programming and stuff like that, which I have zero idea. I mean, I like to play with technology and stuff because technology can do some really cool things for the real estate business. I mean, you can build things that is able to farm data from different type databases like courthouse records and all that kind of thing. And that's really awesome. I mean, if you've ever been in this business and you're just getting started and you're just learning your courthouse records and stuff like that, and you sit there and you're just like typing individually everybody's name or copying, pasting. The next step is to maybe hire a VA, right? That goes in and then takes the info and puts it into a spreadsheet, and you send it out to them. You wake up in the morning and there's your spreadsheet, and you're like, oh wow, that's awesome! And I only paid like $3 for it, right? The next best thing to that is when you build something that can go in and take a spreadsheet and farm all the data in there, and it goes like right before your very eyes. You see like all this information going back and forth and stuff like that. Those are referred to like scrapers. And have you ever built a scraper before? Have you ever done that?
I've never built a scraper, I don't think.
Do you know what I'm talking about though, right?
I do know what you're talking about. Right. It's like something that kind of programmatically gathers information from the internet somehow, right?
Well, it aggregates from some kind of, a courthouse, public record site or something along those lines. You can get some really good information from that kind of thing. So, but your specialty is Deal Machine, and we'll talk about how that came about. But basically, what you did was you found a way to take a few or some key things in real estate and kind of integrate them all into one easy, simple process, right? So
Right.
basically, you have number one, getting a picture of somebody's property, right? That's the first part of it.
Right. Exactly.
And then once you do get that picture, then you can you then at that point can get the address, and then from the address to the skip trace, and then from the skip trace to sending out the postcard, right? So those are all things that people would have to do separately and try to figure out how to do it and all that kind of thing. And then it falls through the cracks. But if you're able to just take a picture in one shot and have it all done for you, that's what the app does at this point, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know you've recently, obviously you're not just the inventor of the app, you're also a user of the app, right? You
Yeah,
found a house for really cheap, like recently, right?
I did. So that one was for
Yeah. Tell us about
less than
that.
$5,000. And I found it. It had like a tarp on the roof. I was looking in this neighborhood because It's going to have like a brand new innovation center built. So even though it was kind of rough, I knew that, future plans were going to make it a better place. And so I wanted to be part of that, ride that wave. So yeah, I drove around that neighborhood. I ended up seeing this house with a tarp. 4 months later, I bought it for less than $5,000.
Wow. So tell me so did you go out intentionally driving for dollars at that point? And am I losing you for some reason? I'm not seeing you on here. Did I lose you, David? I don't think it's me. Hello, David. Did I lose you? Hello, David. Are you there? All right. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know what happened there, but we're back. We just had a little hiccup. Hopefully, I don't think we lost our our audience with us, but yeah. So we were, yeah. Okay. Cool. So people are still here. So did you go out with the intent of that day of driving for dollars per se, or what were you trying to do on that day, or were you trying to find a house, or go ahead and say that again? What were you talking about there?
Exactly. So I was specifically driving in that neighborhood.
And you wanted a house in that neighborhood.
Exactly.
And why in that neighborhood? Why did you want a house?
There's news that there's a new innovation district being built. And so all those properties around are very popular for investors to buy in Indianapolis.
Okay. Okay. So like for rental purposes?
Yeah, they anticipate that the innovation district is going to bring in, higher paying jobs to the area. And so the real estate, around the area has started to increase already, and people are doing renovations there.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you bought the property for less than $5,000. Could you have wholesaled that property, assigned it to somebody else and made some money, or just resold it? Or what would you say the value of that property was when you, like, what could you have flipped that for maybe?
Well, in Indianapolis, I think almost anything minimum is $5,000. So I like to use that as a baseline, and I've seen quite a bit more. But I think it's definitely safe to say I could have made at least $5,000 doing a wholesale.
Okay. So the property was worth at least like 10 grand or something like that.
Well, the land alone should be worth at least $5,000. So yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So where are you at with that property right now? Have you started renovations? I thought I saw you did some videos or something like where you were starting renovation demo day kind of thing.
Exactly. So I did start the renovations, and they are scheduled to be complete in July now, which is actually, it's about 6 to 8 weeks longer than we originally anticipated.
Welcome to rehabbing.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to rehabbing.
It definitely looks a lot better. The general contractor I used was really good about, suggesting how to redo some walls, redo some framing, make it seem bigger by vaulting, some of the ceilings. So I think I'm going to be really pleased with the end result.
Very good. Very good. I was just looking again at our audience here, so I see we didn't lose everybody. So okay, so you so tell us about the process of how that worked. You went ahead, you drove through, you saw the property, you saw the tarp, and you said, "Oh, this looks like something that maybe I want to acquire." Right? So,
yeah, exactly.
What did you do from that process?
So I was in my car at the time, so I pulled over into a parking spot in front of the house. I took a picture of the house with my smartphone, and the app turns that picture into a postcard to the owner. So just looking up on my app, it said exactly who owned it, when they bought it, and then it was owner occupied. So the postcard ended up going to that property, even though it was in such bad shape.
That
I
happens.
still
That
sent a
happens,
postcard.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the postcard ended up going to the person's property, and obviously, was anybody living there?
There was somebody living there.
Oh, so it was correct.
That is why I sent the postcard.
Okay.
A lot of
Okay.
people only send to those, owners who live elsewhere, but I mean, this is a really good case where the guy just couldn't keep up with the maintenance, even though, I mean, he lived there. That was his house. And whenever he got my mailer three or four times,
Oh no.
yeah,
All right, you're back again. I don't know if that's you or me.
I don't know either.
So, all right. Well, so you sent the mailer actually multiple times.
Yeah, 4 times. He responded after the 4th time.
Okay. And what was that conversation like? Was it like, why do you keep sending me this postcard? Were you sending the exact same postcard every time? And what was the duration that you sent those that to the guy?
Yeah, so I sent it every 21 days, and he called and said he'd like
Now,
to
was
get an
that
offer.
automated with the app, the 21-day sending, or that was something where you went and said, okay, I'm going to go hit that again type of thing?
It was automated by the app. So all I did was take a picture of it once, and these postcards went out like clockwork every 21 days. And so I had actually forgotten about it, and I remembered it when he called me. He said in a real slow voice, he wanted to get an offer on his house. And it was just as simple as that. I was like, how much do you think your house is worth? I can definitely help you with that. And he's like, I was hoping that you could tell me that. And so I said, all right, let me come down and see it. And that night I met him at 6 p.m. and took some pictures.
Okay. Of the property, of the interior.
Right. That was the next step. And after that, I said, let me use these pictures and come up with an offer for you. I'll have it, in a couple of days. And I'm, I guess, faster at it now, but I just wanted to leave myself a little time.
Sure. And, yeah.
He was fine with that. I ended up giving him the written offer, and 2 days later, he just called me to accept it. It was the simplest transaction possible, I would imagine.
Wow. So he was just ready to go. And that's a lot of the times the way this business works. You can't take somebody that's like not motivated and turn them into a motivated seller, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what you say or how you say it or all that kind of thing, it's just kind of being at the right place at the right time. And yes, you were at the right place at the right time, and your app really helped you with that. That's really cool. I mean, you're the developer of the app, and then you used that app right then and there to make that deal happen. So
yeah, well, the original purpose was just for me. As selfish as that is, I wanted the app for just me. So right. It's been successful, even though a lot of other people use it now too.
Right. That's really cool. So, all right, yeah. So that landed you that deal, and now you're fixing it up, and then you're going to hold it as a rental property.
Exactly. And
how much are you putting into it? Would you say
$45,000?
Wow. All right. So you're being in it at 50,000.
Right. And to be completely fair, there's no real comps that support what I'm doing. So it seems like a risky, like, speculation thing with, the whole innovation district and stuff going in there.
All right. So let's slow down on that. Okay. So now for me as a full-blown real estate investor, you just said that the comps don't support what you were doing, right? Okay. So
mainly because there's no house like it. So there's it's 600 square feet.
Small house. Yeah.
Like any other house in that neighborhood would be like 1,200 square feet.
Okay.
Very small house.
All right.
So there's no real direct comps.
Okay. So you mean in terms of the house being that small?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be in the house for about $50,000 after it's all said and done, right?
Exactly.
Now, did you get a loan to do the repairs or did you use your own cash for that?
Neither. I actually applied for some no interest credit cards all in one day, and I pay my contractor with the credit cards, so they're no interest for 2 years, and that way I don't have extra fees if the project goes a little bit long. Like it
Wow.
has.
So you, all
And
right.
then once it's done, I'm going to refinance it.
So where did you get these no interest credit cards from?
So I'm a kind of like a personal finance nerd. The website is like either Nerd Wallet, I think. They just kind of like categorize the best cards in each category. So you can click that category that says no interest, and then it'll show you all the best cards. You there?
Wow. All right, we were losing the connection a little bit, but all right. He will be back, folks. Yeah, if you got the problem, David, just refresh the connection like that. I don't know. Are you in a hotel or something?
No, I'm not in a hotel.
Oh,
in an apartment.
Oh, you're okay. All right. So that's really cool. So you got some no interest credit cards that you were able to find, and you just basically how do you write the checks out of that? You just do you get those things in the mail that have the is that how you write the checks out of it, or how do you write checks from credit cards?
My general contractor has a card scanner, so he accepts credit cards.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps.
Yeah.
All right. So for $50,000, you'll be in this property. What do you think you could sell the property for after you're putting the work into it?
So I guess let me back up and say,
okay,
I feel like if I'm buying a rental property, I want to have at least 1% of the purchase price brought in as rent every month. So if it's $100,000 house, I want to make at least $1,000 a month. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's fair.
So quick back of the napkin, like, does this make sense for a rental property? And there are these apartments one block away from my house, and they rent for $1,200 a month for 450 square feet. So even though there's no houses that are super nice, like on my block or anything, what I'm banking on is that instead of living in those apartments, somebody would like to pay, $800 plus for my house. It's more square footage, one block away, a little bit more private than living in that apartment community. A lot of students. There's a lot of university students that live in those apartments. So that's where I'm determining the value. And so because of that, I think it could sell for $80,000 to $100,000 without a big issue.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So you'll be in good shape at that point for sure. There's you're in a spot where you're going to make some money for sure.
Yeah.
It's not when you said that there were no comps that support it, you made me go like, oh no, what did you go over budget on it kind of thing? And then you're putting yourself in a pickle, but it doesn't seem like that. So that's good. So you'll rent it for how much? You think at least $500 a month? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I think at least $800 a month, because my house is 600 square feet with a yard. Plus it's super cute because we didn't really skimp on the materials, and the luxury apartments next door rent for $1,200 a month for less square footage. They only have 450 square feet.
Okay.
So this should be a lot nicer.
Cool.
Yeah.
So people are asking about the app. Do you, by the way, have the link for wholesaling houses full time on there? The Deal Machine app. Could you type that into the comments? For some reason, with BeLive, I'm not able to do that right now. So go ahead and do that. And and if you guys want to check that out, you can. There's also some free mail credits that are involved with that. So if you use that link, you can get the free mail credits, and you can start using it. So now,
all right, I just shared it up there.
Okay. Yep, I see it there. So recently, you've made some other innovations with it, right? So when I first ran into you at Sean Terry's event, basically what it was you took a picture, it sent a postcard out to a Skip Trace address, and that was pretty much the bulk of it at that point. And even the price of it for sending out the postcards was increased at that point too. So now you've taken that price down because you've made that more affordable for the users, which is great. But you also have some other innovations that you've done with it and stuff. So why don't you tell us where you're at now with the app?
Exactly. Yeah, I'd love to. So the app is really, really good for one thing, and it's for when you're driving and you see a house, it lets you capture it with a picture and then automate a marketing campaign from your phone within 10 to 30 seconds.
All right. I think we lost you again on the video feed there. So go ahead and refresh your screen real quick. We should be able to get us back. Okay.
Did you get all that?
No, I heard you. It's good for 30 seconds. You take a picture and then I lost you.
Okay. Well, yeah. So basically you can capture those lead, the app lets you capture a house with a picture, and now you can send that deal to your CRM. So if you have an existing CRM that you use, you can integrate Deal Machine as part of your existing system. That's a brand new thing that we just launched.
Awesome. So like what kind of CRMs would you use with that? So you could take a picture and now integrate it into a fully functioning CRM so you miss out on your leads and stuff, right?
Yeah. It's basically going to let you connect. A lot of people use Investor, like Fuse or Podio. Those work. We actually use software called Zapier that lets you integrate it with thousands of other apps. So if you use like a popular CRM, there's a really good chance that they're going to be, on Zapier, so you can connect Deal Machine and your CRM together.
Okay, that's really cool. And something as well that you recently did that I think the members of the group would find interesting with regards to the app and just regards to wholesaling in general. I get the question all the time. People are like, man, how many leads do I need to find before I find a deal? Or how long am I going to have to do this before I get my first deal? Or how much money am I going to have to spend before I get my first deal? Right. So a lot of people ask those types of questions. But you have come up with a formula or a document or some kind of post, I guess, on that, right?
Right. Yeah. It's that's the biggest mistake I think that people make is they don't have the idea of how much work does this take so that they can set their goals. So it really takes, we have 1,500 people who subscribe to our app right now. And, over the last year, we've just studied how long does it take on average across the United States to get a deal like this. And the answer is really simple. Yeah, I mean, we call it the distressed formula. So this is when you're looking for distressed homes that have, a tarp on the roof, something looks wrong with it. Maybe it has tall grass, etc. You have to find 200 of these homes, and you need to send mail to them at least 3 times over the course of 3 months. And that's what it takes to get one deal.
That's
so
awesome.
If you want to do, yeah. So if you want to do an extra deal per month, you need to be finding about 200 of these types of properties every month.
Okay. So the numbers that as they break down are then that you have to have 200 of these leads, and in that, and this is you just basically essentially taking 200 pictures, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So here's the cool thing, right? And I put out an email. If you're on my email list, I put this out to people. I said, okay, this is a great way to use this app. If you do not want to get out of your house and you want to sit behind your computer and you want to work in your underwear and you want to make this work, right? Okay. So you can use this app. Go get a vacant list from somewhere, or get a list, like you're going to pull a mailer, and then you can send it out to a company like Yellow Letters HQ, and they'll do the mailer for you and everything, but they'll also send you back a list of the vacant houses on there, right?
Exactly.
So go ahead and take that list, take 200 vacant houses. Now, are they vacant? Are they not? Who knows? But go ahead and take that list, right? Upload, and go on Google and take pictures, street view pictures, and cut them out and upload them into the app 200 times, one right after the other, and start the process with it. And now you've not left your house. You've got vacant property, and you're sending these postcards out to it with the app, which is absolutely amazing how you can just do that from anywhere, really. So using that process, you can really get David again, but I think he's coming back. Using that process, you can really speed up the process by getting vacant property and by sending those postcards out to people. So what do you think of that?
I love your concept of that. I think that's really smart, because I think a lot of people maybe have trouble with driving for dollars because they're not looking for enough properties. They're kind of testing it out, and it's not enough to really get results, or really test if you'll get results. So one, I think they need to definitely get to 200 properties as soon as possible. And whatever way they do that, I think is great. So if they don't want to go out, looking at those lists is definitely an option.
Right. Absolutely. Very, very good. So with doing this, I mean, it's possible in the first 100 properties you could find your deal. It's possible in the first 50 properties you can find a deal. But just on average, from what you've got on there, from your user experience, that's awesome data to see. Now, obviously, that's really going to change, though, based on the user's skills, right? If you're a good closer, if you're good at talking to people, if you're good at meeting with people and getting people to sign a contract, things like that. Those are all things that are going to either speed up the process or make the process slower based on how you do, right? Because if you're really bad at talking to people and you're not good at figuring out what's motivating a person and listening and all that kind of stuff, that's just really, that's something that the app won't fix. Right?
I completely agree. So a lot of our beginners our users are beginners. And so you're absolutely right. You do need to have all the skills to do the rest of that stuff. And
that's why these people are in my group. So they can learn that stuff.
That's why they're here.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I love about the app, and I love about what you're doing, because you've taken it, a lot of people get in their head, and it's really easy to get in your head about this stuff. You'd be like, oh man, there's all these big companies right now that are mounting all this kind of data, and they're assimilating all these kinds of things, and they're using so many big marketing campaigns and all that kind of stuff. How in the world am I going to get a deal? How am I going to compete with all this? Right. So you can do that by getting on basically kind of like this micro level of stuff that people just they're not going to be able to do because they're doing it in such a large scale, such a large volume. You can just come in and you can get better at those small things that people just simply can't do, and that's where you can find your niche. So, and your app really helps people to be able to do that. So anything else you want to say with regards to your app or the process or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I would just say, let's talk about the repeat mail for a second.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people also get hung up here and they're not fully testing out the marketing channel of driving. So they'll find, say, 50 or 100 houses, and they'll send mail one time, and then they won't get any responses, and they'll think, oh, this doesn't work for me. Plus, it was so time
doesn't work.
But the thing is, you noticed their house was in bad shape. How long do you think it was in bad shape before you found it? Years. So it's a timing thing. You've got to find those houses because they are good leads. I mean, there's probably something wrong if their house looks that bad, but also you can't expect all of them to want to sell right that second because it's looked bad for quite a while. And honestly, it just takes a random event. It could be a death, it could be an injury. In the case of mine, this guy had surgery, and then he was like, you know what, I can't keep up with this anymore. And that's when he decided to sell. It was about the time he got my third or fourth postcard. So it's a numbers and timing thing. 200 houses and then repeat mail at least 3 times. So you're doubling down on the time you took to even find those houses in the first place. You definitely have to send mail at least 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's true too. Like with people that do these big mailing campaigns, they're like, all right, I'm going to scrape together 20, let's go big, 25,000 mailers, right? And they send out 25,000 pieces and they send it out once and they get calls and they get leads and all that stuff, but they don't get any deals from it for whatever reason. It could be because they're just not good at talking to people. Maybe they're not a good closer, whatever it is, whatever it can be, right? And they're like, oh, this doesn't work, right? However, you're better off taking that from so let's say you have 25,000 pieces and sending once. You're better to take 5,000 pieces and send to that 5,000 pieces 5 different times, right? And to get that same, and your effect will be that much stronger because of you're staying in front of these people, you're consistent with it, and you're doing a good job that way. So mailing consistency and the repeat process is key. And the cool thing with your app is that's automated, right? You can say, okay, I want to send to this piece this many times.
100%. That's correct.
That's huge, right? Because let's say you were doing this without the app and you were getting lists of names and you were sending out postcards, right? And now you're at a spot where you're like, okay, let's see, I sent out a mailer to this person a week ago. Maybe it's due for another one. And then, oh wait, there's another vacant house. And then you write that one down. You're like, okay, I got to send to this one. And maybe in 7 days I'll send another one, or maybe it was a month ago. No, I just give up. Right. So at that point with the app, you just send it out, hit the button, and it's going to resend it out on there.
100%. So, yeah, it's awesome. Definitely doable without an app. The app can really make it much faster and prevent procrastination.
Yes, which is huge, right? Because that's another thing. You're like, oh, what postcard do I send? How do I say it? How should it look? And you get all bogged down in the details and you just don't do anything. And I'm guilty of that too. When I'm looking at something new or something newer to implement for marketing for motivated sellers, I really get into my head about it. And I start looking at all these details and just trying to test and tweak things. And before you know it, I don't do anything.
Right.
And it's so much better to just be simpler with that kind of thing.
I completely agree. And I had the same problem. That's why I made the app. I had this sheet of paper with addresses and never sent anything out to it. And I was like, I need to fix this for myself. So
yeah, it looks like people are looking for the name of the app again. So go ahead and type that link in there for them for Deal Machine, and they can check it out and they can get some free mail credits and stuff like that. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions? And I'm going to be looking at my phone here to try to find your questions here. So I can address them and see who did that. Oh, I think we lost David again, and I think he's coming back again. All right, David's back.
There we go.
All right, cool. Yep, there's the app. There's the link. So guys, check that out. Any questions, anybody, about the app, about the use of the app, about real estate? I got a couple of minutes, so feel free to ask and be glad to answer them for you. While you were doing that as well, guys, doing these calls and everything is fun. It's good to bring other people on, good to talk to them and see what they've got going on. Yep, there's the app. Oh, they're asking the magical question there, David. What is the price? What is the price?
Yeah, so the price is $49 a month, and you get a free trial when you start. and it's 99 cents per postcard that you send out, and it's got the full color picture on both sides, so it looks
Okay.
really nice and stands out.
And so basically that includes the skip tracing as well, right?
Yeah, so it includes a owner lookup, basically the same info your county website has, plus mortgage data right there in the app. That's no charge, and you press a button, it launches a mail campaign to that person.
Very good, very good. So yeah, guys, definitely check that out. But like I was saying, these calls and everything, they're great. Getting people on here so you guys can learn. But also, guys, if you're looking to take your business to the next level, I have an implementation program that I work with Brian Haskins. I'm sure you've seen these calls before, and we've talked about that. But if you're at a point in your business, whether you're new, whether you're experienced, whether you're intermediate, whether you're deal to deal, whatever it is, feel free to question below, and I'll post a link for that where you guys can check out our implementation program and where we try to meet you where you're at and get you to the next level of where you want to go. So check that out and ask a question if you want, and I'll post a link for that too. You can schedule a strategy session. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. People are saying we love Deal Machine.
All right, glad you guys are liking the app.
Does the app compile a list of houses you find, or is it a single property at a time? Great question.
So you add properties one at a time.
Dustin said that.
Yep. And then in the app, they all live in the app. So you can go back and see all the properties you added. You can also have team members that have their own logins, add properties on your account as well.
So you can have a bird dog team on there.
Exactly.
And do the bird dogs have to pay, or can they just sign into your app?
No, you can invite bird dogs and they have their own login. When they add properties, they can't spend any of your money. They don't have to pay anything, but they can just add properties. And then in the app, you can see who added which property, and then you can approve them to have mail sent.
See, that's really cool, right? Because now what you can do is you can have people in your family, friends, whatever, who have this app, who have the app on their phone. And if they're driving around, you always say, hey, if you ever see something, just let me know what the address is, right? So now what these people can do is they can be out driving around, and without having to call you and take a picture and all that kind of stuff, or try to remember what they saw or whatever it was, they can simply take a picture with the app and upload it. And, you could work out whatever you want with them at that point to incentivize them for working with you as a bird dog. You can pay per lead, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to do that. I mean, you could do that, if somebody who drives around all day, if you have a friend who works for UPS, hey, download this app, and if you see a picture of something, take a picture of it, and it'll be sent to me, and we'll work something out, kind of thing. So you can recruit a whole army of bird dogs. It doesn't cost them anything, and all they got to do is sit there and take pictures. So that's pretty awesome.
That's another version of your sit in your leather chair and kind of let the work happen for you.
Yes. If you have a leather chair, mine happens to be vinyl, and it's like falling apart right now. I need a new chair. Maybe I'll get a new leather chair.
Yeah, you've earned it.
All right, let's see. And actually, I have a question for you on that. Will you actually, could you do that? Could you have it set to where it pulls the street view picture of the property, so that way you could just upload a bunch of properties at one time, boom, and then it takes the Google Street View and uses that as a picture? Have you thought about that?
I really like that idea. We looked into it, and Google officially does not let you use their Street View images in print materials. All right, so if you're doing this, there's probably not a big risk for you. But if we were to do that as a business, it's just not in their terms of service. So they could shut it off, so we wouldn't be able to do that and offer that.
Interesting. So Google does not want you to use their Street View if you're mailing property. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, in print materials, unless you have written permission
from Google.
That's Google's terms of service when you dig in there. That big agreement.
Yeah.
whenever you sign up for a software that you never read.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we read it.
So that's interesting, right? Because there are Street View mailers out there that
There definitely are. We
but and
chose to abide by the
the
rules.
question is though, yeah, okay, but that's interesting. That's interesting to know. Okay, so yeah, so that wouldn't work, and you know what? Using your own picture, which instead of a Street View, which is the generic picture, is probably better too, right? It just maybe it adds just a little bit different feel to it rather than that kind of blurry-ish kind of Street View picture.
Yeah, I think you can totally tell if you get a mailer and you've got the Street View image versus something that was taken on a smartphone. Especially if it's got a selfie of the person in front of your house, which you can do to make it a little more personal.
Is this your house? Kind of
exactly. They're going to look at that postcard.
Oh man, that's a thought there. That's interesting. All right, let's see if we have any other questions. So that's a good one about compiling properties and something I learned today about Google Street View. All right, let's see. Name of the app, Deal Machine. Check it out. There's a link here for that. Beautiful. They really like that you provided that data about how many houses it takes to get a deal. Yeah. I love that too. That was great. Let's see. People loving the technology. All right, let's see. Does anybody have any other questions about the app? I was looking through the BeLive app here, and I'm looking on here. Somebody says they are working with it. They haven't done a deal yet, but they have owners replying, right? So again, there is no magic formula, or there's no magic potion that you can sprinkle on this. All you can do is work the numbers game, right? So if you're getting people to respond to you, that means you're getting a response. And in the world of marketing, a response is all we're looking for, right? Because then that helps us work the numbers game. Whether it's a yes or a no, at least it's a response. At least it's an attention getter. So all that means is that you need to increase your numbers. Either increase your numbers or you increase your conversion, right? So yeah, just like when you go out on appointments, you either increase the amount of appointments you do or you increase your percentage of closing people. And that's like how you fix that part of your business. If you're like, man, I'm not getting any deals, but I'm getting appointments, right? Well, if you're getting appointments, that means you need to increase your conversion rate, your close, right? So if you increase that, that's going to make up for it. If you're not good at closing, well, then you have to increase your appointments. So then that way you can make up for your bad closing ratio. It's just the way it works, right? When we look at this from a business standpoint. Somebody wants to know who you are using for printing your postcards, and can we see or find a sample? You don't have to disclose who your vendors are, obviously, but they would like to see a sample. You don't have a link, do you, to that would show a sample of it?
I do. Yeah, give me just 1 second.
Oh, look at this. I really got a good testimonial here for you.
You do?
Yeah. Says, I've not gotten a deal off the email feature. Okay, so the email feature, that's a new feature that you just put out there, right?
Yeah, we can talk about that too, but what's the rest? What did he say?
Says, not gotten a deal off the email feature. Let me see who said this. Oh, okay. Not gotten a deal off the email feature, but closing today on a flip with a $45,000 profit that came from a Deal Machine lead that I got from 3 postcards. At the time, that was the 175th property I added to Deal Machine.
Bingo. I told you, it's always around 200 properties. That's awesome. And congrats to you. And you obviously did a lot of work to do that. So that's awesome. Awesome to hear.
Yeah, very good. And that was Joshua Johnson who said that. So congrats, Joshua.
All right, I just
Um,
posted a link to what the postcard looks like on the front,
oh, there you
and
go.
I'm going to post the back as well.
Yep. So you can check what the postcards look like. Now, do you also have a feature on there where you can like customize that or no? Or you customize the verbiage or what is it?
Yeah, yes. You can customize all the language on your postcard. We give you some default language that works in pretty much any case. So you can pick up the app and take a picture right away, and it'll work for any house. And as you can see there, it's really generic. It's really light. It's not screaming or yelling. It just says, "Hey, I'm interested in your property and would love to buy it. I can close with cash, and text me if you're interested."
Okay. All right. I'm looking at my feed here and I see your link there. Is there a way you can do like a screenshot picture of that instead of the link because it's not coming through as the link itself?
Yeah, let me try to upload an image.
Yeah, try to do an upload image. That would be cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Any recommendations on finding contact phone numbers and making contact by phone? Well, the simple answer is upload it to Deal Machine and it will send you the contact info, right?
Yeah, so there's a button on there called Enhanced Search that gives you the owner's phone numbers, email addresses, and then a list of other properties that they own / live in.
Now you don't have to if you don't want to, but can you tell us where that info comes from or where do you aggregate that data from?
Yeah, so we have like 4 or 5 different data providers that we use, as well as linking directly with some counties. So I guess long story short, what you're seeing in the app is always a combination of different sources like that.
Okay.
I'm just posting this. It doesn't look like it lets me post a picture on this comment thread.
Really? Maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe it doesn't like it for some reason. But you could send it to me and I can upload it in there as well.
Cool, I'll do that.
Maybe after just so people can check that out. Let's see. All right. Any other questions for David or anything about real estate? All right. Sean asked, does the app require GPS tracking to allow it to use the pics to pull owner data?
You're going to want to turn on the GPS because then you don't have to type in the address.
And I would guess you're kind of thinking you don't want the app GPS tracking you. I guess, is that, Sean, why you would not want that on, like a privacy thing? Or I don't know.
Just to clarify, it doesn't use your GPS unless you're actually taking a photo. It's only for that split second when you're on the screen that lets you input the address.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got to that question. Anybody else have any other questions with regards to the app? How do you leverage Deal Machine to scale up to 3 to 5 deals per month for a bigger team?
Great question. So the short answer is back to that distressed formula. When across the country, we're seeing if you add 200 properties, that's what it takes to get one deal. So if you wanted to do 3 properties, you would want to have 600, properties that you're adding per month. And you can do that yourself. I would guess, depending on your neighborhood, that may take, I've added 100 properties in an hour and a half in some like dense neighborhoods in Indianapolis. It all depends, but you can have other people looking for properties for you in specific neighborhoods.
So let me say something here too about that, right? So a lot of people are like, oh man, 600 properties. That's crazy. How am I going to do that, right? Well, here's the thing too. Once you start adding these amounts of properties, right? you're going to be adding in these properties, and they're going to start turning into their own deals from the previous time, that you added it in. It's just like mailers, right? So when you mail something out the first month, maybe you don't get something from it for the first month, but it could be done 3 days, 4 days. I'm sorry. Not days. It could be 3-4 months after you sent that mailer. And then what happens is you get a deal from a new mailer that you send out, and then you get some deals from the follow-up from the previous mailer that you send out, and all of a sudden it starts to come together, right? So it's kind of like it's exponential. The more you put into it, the more that's going to come from it, kind of thing. So think of it that way. You just got to be consistent, right? So set a goal with it. Say, I'm going to do 100 a month, and then I'm going to do 100 next month, and as it aggregates, if you will, then things are going to start to fall out of it that turn into money.
Yes.
All right. People are asking for the link again. Anybody have any other questions for David with regards to the app? All right. Let's see here. I'm posting the link again here for you guys. So use the link that's here, and you will get some free mail credits. How long free do they get, David?
So it's 14-day free trial, and they also get, I think, like $10 or $20 worth of mail credit. I don't remember which. When they sign up, you'll see it on the analytics page. You've got should be at least $10 worth of mail credits, so you can test out sending mail.
Okay, cool. Very good. Yep. So I just posted the link on there again. I think it's kind of funny. The link doesn't come through on the broadcast itself because of I don't know. Seems like Be Live's got something going on with Facebook or something like that.
Okay.
Are you if you're able to, actually, you know what we could do? I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to post. I am going to post, and I'm in my group right now. I'm going to post a post here that says, for everybody that was on our training call, here is the link for the app. And here we go. Let's see here. Dealmachine.app. link/WHFT. All right. So there we go. So that should post no problem to the page itself. So it's nice, large, big letters there for you guys, and you can check that out. So, okay. Any other questions for David here? How long have you all been in real estate? Okay, I've been in business or in real estate about 15 years.
Wow. That's cool. For me, it's been 2 years.
Brand new to the game, but innovating. I love it. All right. All right, folks. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Do you have any parting words, David?
No, just reiterate, if you're going to do any type of marketing method, ask people who are successful at it, how many, postcards you need to send or cold calls you have to make, et cetera. And that way, just use that as a guide to make sure that you fully test, whatever marketing method you're going to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With driving, it's 200 properties and send mail 3 times to get 1 deal.
And consistency is the key. Consistency, right?
And yes, if you're just starting out, try a coach.
Yep. And if you need help, you can definitely check us out. We'll be glad to help you in our implementation program. So, all right. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
All right.